Jason, I brought you out here to take a look at the wading pool. See, I put a rock in the middle of it?
Yeah.
But I don't want you to look at the rock. I want you to look at the reflections on the top of the water. See them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now take a look at them with these glasses.
Okay. The reflection has disappeared.
Yeah. Now take them off one.
They're back now.
Okay, put them back on. Gone again?
Yeah, and the rock is really, you can see it in more detail.
Yeah. Okay, now give me the glasses once. Let's see if I can explain what's going on here.
Okay.
These glasses are made of a crystalline substance that has crystals, let's say, that are all lined up like this, and they allow light only to come through in that plane. And this may not look like it, but this is a wavelength of light.
Oh, okay.
And it's going up and down and up and down, and the glasses are allowing light to come through only like that.
Oh, okay.
Hold the glasses there for a minute. Now, the light coming off of the bottom of the pool is coming in all these planes.
Oh, so...
See?
Huh.
All these planes. So you can see the light, and it'll go through the glasses, because the glasses, when you look at it, you're going to see some of these, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But the light coming from the reflections of the pool are polarized like that. So what happens when they come up and hit your glasses?
Well, since it can only come in vertically,
Yeah.
it stops it.
Right.
It can't get in.
So all the reflections are stopped by your glasses.
Oh.
And that are polarized 90 degrees from it. That's what. So put them back on again. Who'd find use for these kind of polarizing glasses? What if that were fish?
Fishermen.
Yes. So fishermen wear them because they cut the reflection from the surface of the water.
They can see the fish better.
Yes, and people, when they're driving down the highway, the light coming off of the highway as it's reflected up is also polarized.
So they won't get in accidents
Right.
by cutting down the glare.
Right. So you now know about light coming through polarized glass that removes reflection because the light coming from there is polarized, and so are the glasses.
Oh, okay.
Stacy, I assume you've made some phone calls once in a while?
Yeah, almost every day.
Yeah. Parents don't get mad at you? You don't talk too much?
My sister gets mad sometimes.
She wants to talk and you're talking?
Yeah.
Well, you know how to dial then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here, I've rigged up a battery so that we can pretend that you've lifted the phone off the hook. And see what's happened over there? The light went. See the lights on?
Yes.
Dial now a number.
It flashes.
Yeah. Dial 1.
It only went off once.
Try 2.
It went off twice.
Here's 7. Count them now. I'll do it slowly. You're going to dial, you're going to count when it goes off.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, then it went back on again. So when you dial, even though you didn't realize it, you're closing a switch on and off and on and off and on and off, and it's sending a message over the same wires that you're going to talk on over to the telephone company, and they connect you with the equipment. Now, the engineers and the designers of the equipment said, let's make it go faster, because this is pretty slow by electronic standards.
Yeah.
So you know what they came up with? One of those.
Touch-tone phone.
Touch-tone phone. So let's take a look at that. Go ahead. You can dial a number on that one. You've used that, I assume. You've heard that before?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do, dial your number?
No, I just dialed the number.
Okay. Well, I've rigged it up so that I have a little pickup here, and it goes down to an amplifier so we can hear it in the speaker. Now, you've probably never done this before, but dial a very unusual number. 12. But do it both at the same time. 1 and 2. That would be 3. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Try it again. Does that sound like anything you've heard before? There's that, but here's this.
It sounds kind of like it's mixed.
Like it's mixed? Try 2 and 3. Now try 2 and 1.
It's the same tone.
Yes. Aha.
So each row has its own tone.
Has its own tone. This way.
Yeah, does it work this way?
Try it.
Yeah, it does work.
Okay. So now each key in this row has its own tone. Now push 1 again and listen very carefully.
It's the two tones mixed.
Yes. So when you push any key, you're combining with a tone from its row in each direction. And that's what you're doing when you do that touch phone. And that's why it sounds that sort of strange, sort of funny sound, because the engineers decided that if they're going to send this sound over the wires, they should make sure that they send a sound that you wouldn't hear in everyday life. So they chose real odd frequencies, 4,297, all kinds of different things like that, to put into each row. Then they said, we'll make it even more odd, but we'll combine two of them. And that's what you're doing when you... Now would you dial a special telephone number for me?
All right.
621-2666.
Mary had a little lamb.
You can finish it up by just using 6-2 there.
I don't know the rest.
So when you touch those little buttons on the phone and make those odd sounds, you can be connected to any one of the 400 billion telephones anywhere in the world. Here's Harvey, a patient who never gets well, even though he's been given thousands of medical examinations. In fact, Harvey's job is to be sick. Of course, he's not a real patient. He's a patient simulator that can suffer from 48 different heart conditions. Harvey's symptoms are produced by motors and pumps under his plastic skin. They create variations of his breathing, pulse, and blood pressure. A recording system supplies authentic heart sounds. Simply changing program tapes gives Harvey new symptoms, which are realistic enough for students to identify. And no matter how many of them examine Harvey, he never gets tired or complains. Dr. Michael Gordon of the University of Miami designed Harvey as a sophisticated teaching tool to train students, even though their patient will never get well. Jennifer, today you and I are going to do some sort of tricks based on a thing called center of gravity.
Okay.
You ever heard of that?
No.
You heard of gravity?
Right.
Okay, but not center of gravity. Well, it's kind of a nice thing to know about, because once you know about it, you can do some very interesting tricks. Here's the first one. See this little piece of wood?
Looks like a quotation mark.
Right. I want you to bring your finger up here.
Okay.
I'm going to balance it, or at least let go. Do you think it'll balance up there?
No, it'll fall.
Right, it'll fall. Now, the reason why it's made in this strange shape is because you want to add a belt, which is a weight, right?
Right.
All right, I will. Now, you see, the belt will fit into this little slot.
It does.
Okay, give me your finger again. This time, in spite of the fact that we've added weight...
It stayed up. I thought it would fall.
Right. Now, that's because of that secret center of gravity. Okay, here's another one.
It's neat.
I assume you have a piece of potato at home?
I do.
You have one of these?
Right.
Toothpick. Stick it through the potato like that. Take this pencil and hold it up like that.
Okay.
Now, by adding, if I put that on, it would fall, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to add weight in the form of two forks.
Okay.
One like that and one like that. If you now put it up here,
It stays up.
not only stays up, but it's really in balance. Look,
It
it'll
really
spin.
is.
Again, because of that thing called center of gravity. So maybe we ought to find out about that. Are you ready?
Yeah.
First of all, you know, gravity pulls down on everything.
Right. It
All right?
does.
Pulls down on this coat hanger, right?
Right.
Pulls down on the coat hanger if I hang it like that.
Right.
Or if I hang it like that.
Right.
Always gravity pulling down. This time, we'll sort of get an estimation of where gravity is pulling down. Have you ever heard of a plumb bob?
No.
Okay, plumb bob is the thing that carpenters use when they want to find a vertical line, a line that points directly at the center of the earth. They hang it from in this case, I have a nail, and you see that line pointing down there? That's right to the center of the earth. So you take this pen,
Okay.
and wait till it stops swinging, and then you make a mark right next to that line. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. There.
Good. Now let's change the position of the coat hanger.
Okay.
We're still now getting the line that points directly to the center of the
Change.
earth that gravity is pulling down on. Notice they cross?
Right.
Okay. Draw that one in.
Okay. there.
Okay, now we have one more arm of the coat hanger.
Right.
Put it like that.
Okay.
Here again, we're finding the point where gravity seems to be pulling down on the whole thing.
Okay.
And notice they all cross at the same point.
They do.
Okay, put a line there.
It's quite neat.
Okay, now,
Together.
notice regardless of which way we hang the coat hanger, that point is always directly below the point of support.
Right.
Now we can get rid of that, the cardboard part, because when you ordinarily hang up a coat hanger, you don't have cardboard on it, do you?
No, you don't.
Okay. Where's that point now?
Probably about there.
Yes. So the center of gravity is an imaginary point in which gravity seems to be acting on whatever it is you're hanging.
Okay.
Right there it is again, right?
Right.
Coat hanger is particularly good because the center of gravity is an imaginary point in the middle of the air. It isn't even in the coat hanger.
Right.
Okay, now let's look at these other things. If you tried to balance this, where would the center of gravity be, do you suppose? Someplace about in here? Yeah. So therefore, when you put your finger up here, the center of gravity is way over here,
there.
so it's going to fall.
Right.
Okay, now, when we add the weight, we now have changed the center of gravity because this is now a whole new system.
It is.
Piece of wood and belt. Now put your finger
Okay.
up there. In fact, you can pull it, see if you can pull it out even a little further. There. Now, where's the center of gravity?
Here somewhere?
Right. It's got to be directly below the point of support. An
About
imaginary
there.
point right there. So that's why the little belt hook stays up. Now,
Right.
center of gravity of the potato? Probably right in the center, right? Okay,
Right.
add a toothpick. Hold that for a minute.
Okay.
Now if we add a fork, we're adding weight,
Fork,
right?
too.
But here's the pencil.
Okay, here's the pencil.
Where must the center of gravity be? In the pencil. Really, it is, because the center of gravity must be right below the point of support.
Right there.
Yeah, right there someplace. So notice, by the way, that if you do this at home and you put the toothpick out too far, then you have a much more difficult time balancing it. You see that?
Yeah.
So push the toothpick up so not too much of it sticks out, or jug
Okay.
or arrange the two forks, and then you can get it to balance perfectly. And what's the secret behind all of this? What's it called?
Center of gravity.
The center of gravity. I have water in the bottom here, Billy. What's happening to it?
It's evaporating.
Well, it's actually, evaporating is sort of correct. Actually, you should say boiling. Boiling and evaporation are pretty much the same, except boiling takes place faster. You have heat down below. How do you know it's boiling?
Because you got the stove on.
I see. I thought maybe you were going to look at the little spout there.
Wow, there's steam coming out.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
There's steam coming out.
How do you know?
Because I can see it.
No, what you're looking at is not steam. This is a mistake a lot of people make, and if you're going to be scientifically correct, we should use the correct term. Those are little tiny droplets of water, and you should say water vapor. Steam is right here, right at the end of the spout. Can you see it?
No?
No, steam is invisible. See, when you change water to steam, it's actually in the gas form, and the molecules are dashing all around it, they're not together. When you put them together, you get this stuff, which is water vapor. Let's change the water vapor back to steam, and I think you'll see.
How do you do that?
Well, all you have to do is take the stove and hold it under the water vapor and heat it up again. Here you go. Okay, hold the heat right under the... See, it's gone, right?
Where'd it go?
Yeah, because you're heating it up and changing it back to steam. Now take it out of the way. There it is. Showing that we're heating those little droplets and changing them back to steam again. So the next time you see that white stuff coming out of a tea kettle, what are you going to say it's called?
It's water vapor.
Right. You're flying over the open ocean on a rescue mission with the U.S. Coast Guard. There's a man down there in the water somewhere in that very big ocean. It may take hours of searching, and if you stop concentrating or glance down at the instrument panel for more than a moment, you could miss him. Why not get some help from pigeons? That's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Like many birds, pigeons can see at a distance much better than humans can. Pigeons are easy to train and could have a working life of up to 10 years. It seems like a good idea, but would it work? First, each pigeon was put into a harness so it wouldn't try to balance itself during the hours of training. Then it was placed in a chamber that duplicated the noise and vibration of a helicopter. An orange target on this float could be operated by remote control. Whenever a pigeon saw the orange target, it soon learned to peck at a button to get a reward of food. Orange was chosen because it's the international color for life rafts. The target was moved farther and farther until it was half a mile away. Even at that distance, as soon as the pigeon saw the orange color, it pecked at the button and got its reward. Next, trials at sea. A transparent cage was attached to the bottom of the helicopter. Out at sea, an orange target was dropped overboard. 3 pigeons were placed in the cage. Each pigeon could scan a section of the ocean. The contest was on. Who would spot the target first, the human observers or the pigeons? When one of the pigeons saw the target, its pecking alerted the crew and gave them the general direction to head. In the end, the pigeons were more than twice as good as humans at spotting the orange-colored object on the surface of the ocean. The results of the research are being evaluated. In the near future, the U.S. Coast Guard stations may have pigeons assigned to their rescue crews, and the day may come when people could owe their rescue, at least in part, to the crew members who first spotted them on the ocean, the Coast Guard's spotter pigeons. Jason, this is the square we were talking about that you found. Where was it? What?
Oh, it was in a mathematical magic book.
Mathematical magic, so I made it up. Now, I'm going to give it to you to try on your friends, but before you do, I want to make sure you know how to do it. I'll play the person you're going to show it on. What do I do?
Okay, first of all, you have to count up all the squares.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 7 is 49.
Right. Okay, then I'll take these away, move them around a bit, and I'll switch these two around, like that, and I'll replace these.
Hey, wait a minute, Jason. One missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 7 is still 49, but there's a whole one missing. Where did it go?
Well, the way this works is this square here is bigger than that one. This one is bigger than that one. This one is bigger than that one. But this one here is bigger than this one. This one is bigger than this one. This one is bigger than this one. And this one is bigger than this one.
So what difference does that make? So they're bigger.
Well, the bigger of each two is exactly 1/7 larger than the smaller one.
Ah, so if you do it by this rearrangement, you can take all those 1/7 and put them all together and you get one. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Get one square. Well, this is a relatively easy puzzle to do. You can make it out of graph paper, right?
Yeah.
And the way you start, when you're going to cut it up the first time, is like this.
All right.
So, friends, if they want to make one, they can just check. Sort of, a lot of the books on mathematical magic have this sort of magic square where one whole square disappears. This is a picture of a human brain photographed in a new way. All the organs of your body, your brain included, use the energy in food to function. Scientists added a harmless radioactive substance to food they knew would be used by the brain. Notice the white and blue areas on the left? Well, with a new instrument called a PET scanner, that's P-E-T-T, they detected and recorded how much energy the various parts of the brain were using. The white and blue areas were the most active. New information obtained from such pictures will help scientists learn more about the living, thinking brain. Okay, Eugene, here's a great big beaker, and in it some water sitting on a scale. How much do the beaker and the water weigh together?
8 pounds.
All right, now, I'd like you to pull up your sleeve, and you're going to put your hand in the water without touching the side of the beaker.
Mm-hmm.
Will it weigh the same, will it weigh more, or will it weigh less?
It'll weigh the same.
Okay, now why do you say that?
Well, because when I put my hand in the water, my hand feels like it weighs like nothing.
I see. Therefore, it shouldn't show on the scale?
Yes.
Okay, now there's another possible explanation. That is, when you put your hand in the water level is going to go up. Therefore, the scale ought to show an increase.
I don't believe it.
You're not going to change your mind?
No. I'll stay with my answer.
Good. You stick with your answer. Okay, now let's try it, though.
Okay.
Are you ready? Don't touch the side of the beaker. Put your hand and watch what happens to the scale.
It goes up half a pound.
All right. You're not touching the beaker, are you?
No.
Okay. Now, can you figure out why?
No, I cannot.
Well, here, think about it this way. When you put your hand in water, it weighs less.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that?
Well, when I go swimming, I feel like I weigh nothing when I'm in the water.
That's because the water it has buoyancy. It's holding you up. And therefore, you feel like you weigh less. And you do weigh less because of the buoyancy of the water. Well, that's what's going to happen here. So the water in here is pushing up on your hand. And you know how much it's pushing up? Here, give me your hand again. But this time, don't look at the scale. Look at the mark on the side of the beaker here.
Good. It rose up to 3,000 milliliters.
So it gained that much water. Therefore, it should weigh that much more. And the water gained as much weight as the amount of water that was displaced by your hand. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of it.
In other words, if you put in something that was thicker and bigger, it would weigh more, wouldn't it? Because it would displace more water. If you put in something that was skinnier, when you put it in, the whole thing would weigh less because it would displace less water. So it weighs more depending on how much water you displaced. Try it again, you'll see. Now take it out once. Watch the scale go up and down as well as the water level.